welcome to today's Insights from the Shed podcast. I'm your host, Sally Jeans, and I'm pleased to say we're finally back after the summer holidays. Everyone is refreshed and ready to go again. We finally managed to see Ben in our office in Dubai and, more importantly, been busy with client work. I'm joined today by two of our youngest members of the team, Francesca, otherwise known as Chezzy, and Reece. So today's podcast, we're going to actually discuss the apprenticeship programme and continual training, which both of you have participated in. But firstly, can you just tell the listeners what your job roles are? It's not like a Miss World interview where you're like, I look after animals, but just give us just a brief outline of your job title and how your summer was, really.
Yeah, so I work in the account management team, so dealing with the clients, like planning marketing campaigns, working with the digital team as well. Yeah, summer was good. Didn't really feel like we had much of a summer. Bit rainy, but managed to get away, so it's quite nice.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, and I work in the digital side of the company, so that's working on Facebook ads, building our websites, email campaigns, anything digital. That's my area. And again, a bit like Chessie, we didn't have much of a summer, did we? There was no like sun or anything, but yeah, we watched the Euros. That ended in heartbreak. We won't go too much more into that, but yeah, no, it was nice. It was good.
Well, I'm finding out a plaster because my summer I spent in a plaster with my damaged hand, but there you go. I'm finally out and I can now drive, thank goodness. So anyway, so let's start looking at the apprenticeship programme. So Reece, you participated in that prior to joining ADS.
Yeah.
So could you just tell us about what made you go down that route?
Yeah, so rewinding, maybe 5 years or 6 years or so ago now, I was working full-time in retail. I decided against going to university. I didn't feel ready in myself to do it.
Yeah, fair enough.
If I'm honest, I was probably a little bit scared of moving out and moving to a completely different place. But so I wanted to get into marketing. I've always been keen on that. I did it in GCSE. Well, this was business in GCSE, and also the first year of A-level, and also in college. So I've always kind of had like a little soft spot for marketing.
Yeah.
Wanted to go into like an entry-level role, but just didn't have any luck with it because I didn't have experience. So I thought the best way to do it was to start an apprenticeship to get experience on the job, but also to learn whilst I was getting experience as well. Yeah. So yeah, that's sort of basically how I got into it.
Excellent. Okay, it's been really useful for us. We took Ben on, who's our digital manager, 7 years ago as an apprentice. And so obviously he was learning on the job here, and the opportunities for him, obviously now he's in Dubai heading up our digital. So I think it's another great opportunity or a good route to go down as well, to do that. Because he, like you, wanted a career change, and that was the only route at that time that he found. I always get in my mind, I always think that apprenticeships is for people that have left school, but you can do an apprenticeship at any age, can't you?
Yeah.
So, I could do one now at my age if I
can't quite remember how old I was. I think I was in my 20s. I definitely was in my 20s, and it did. I must admit, it did sort of cross my mind. Like, am I doing the right thing? And am I in some respects like overthinking it? Am I along the right lines in doing it? But I know I'm really glad I did do it.
Yeah, excellent. So what was actually involved in it, and like how long did it actually take you?
So my experience with it, it was just over a year. I think it was like a year and 3 months. So it was a mix of like office sort of hands-on work, is what you would expect to be doing in a day-to-day thing. And then there was weekly lectures, and then there was assignments that I think were, I can't remember how often they were. I think they're sort of fortnightly assignments, which were all done online. I went to college for 1 day a week for about a month, and that was to do some IT stuff. But yeah, it was really just sort of a mix of sort of everyday work, and then the sort of the learning side thrown into that as well. Yeah.
Did you have your tutor then come in on a regular basis, or did you see them at college?
So there was a tutor that came in every once in a while. I don't think I saw them any more than sort of a handful of times, to be honest.
Yeah.
But everything was done online, and that was weekly. So it was kind of like what we've all come to know now in Zoom, but this was, I don't know what platform it was on back then, but I just logged on my laptop and did it all through a portal and webcam.
Yeah, because I know when Ben was here, so apologies to keep reverting back to Ben, but it was because it was the experience that we actually had with him.
Yeah.
And with us, it was very much when the tutor came in, we then felt like we were told what we had to do. It's Ben needs to do this. I was like, oh my goodness, I felt like I had to do homework. I found it quite stressful, but no, it was it worked well actually for him. So I do
good.
Yeah, excellent. So how did you feel that kind of like actually benefited you? What kind of,
it was definitely a foot in the door. Like it's allowed me to get the experience I need to come into a job here, which I'm really enjoying, and it's just allowed me to really
That's the right thing to say. That you really enjoy it.
No, it's just really sort of. It was that start that I think a lot of it's starting that's the difficult bit. I think in a lot of terms, like once you've got the ball rolling, you can kind of you make your own luck and you just do what you do. But I found that getting off the ground was the hardest bit, and I think the apprenticeship allowed me to do that. But then also in other areas, like I've really learnt the value of money and like budgeting, because I was on £600 a month in an apprenticeship, and I had bills to pay, albeit what I thought were big bills back then, but they're nothing compared to now.
Now you've got a mortgage.
Life. Yeah, exactly. But it's just it was a difficult period in my life going from retail into office-based work. It was something that I found a bit challenging at first, but looking back now, it's an experience that I am grateful for, and I'm glad I would do over again if I had to.
Great, thanks Reece. That was really interesting. So Chezzy, you followed a different route. So you participated in the CIM, the Chartered Institute of Marketing program. I always struggle with that. Even when I've been trying it, I've been really struggling. So you you worked for us, looked at what other people were actually doing in the office here, and went, that's the kind of route I wanted to go down. So we kind of like, not necessarily pushed you down that route, but suggested you went down. So could you just explain to the listeners the course that you participated and what was involved in it?
Yeah, so I did the level 6, so it's a diploma in professional marketing, so it is the equivalent of a degree.
Yeah.
So you do 3 different modules. 2 of them are mandatory that you have to do, and they're digital ones, and then there's another unit that you can do. So yeah, it was really good. It was I think it was over 18 months in total, and you have 8 weeks of studying for each module, which when you think 8 weeks of learning to then do a big assignment, it's quite intense.
Yeah.
It was really good. You do evening classes, 3 hours on a Tuesday evening. So it was really good.
Yeah. But yours was slightly different, because I've done a similar program, and I know others have here. And I did it in a classroom environment. So, went to college, and we went to... But presumably you did it during lockdown, did you?
Yeah, it was all during lockdown. So I think I signed up in the February and was like ready to go to Oxford Brookes. It was. Yeah. Which I was dreading going to Oxford Brookes, if I'm honest. It's massive. Yeah. But yeah, and then lockdown happened. So I did all 3 units in the end on Zoom. Excellent. So that was weird, not meeting any of your classmates or your tutor. So
yeah, it must have been quite difficult also not being able to kind of like do your day-to-day job and link elements to that, because I know previous people that have actually done it, that's worked here, Debbie and Nikki, and they were able to link some of those elements to their day-to-day job. Did you feel that you could actually do that even though you were in lockdown and you weren't in the office, or was it quite a challenge,
It was quite challenging, yeah. But I mean, like, everyone at work was really helpful. Like, Ben helped out with any reports that I needed, and everyone was really helpful. Yeah. So no, it was okay.
Excellent. Yeah. And did you do your assignments around? I mean, I do know the answers to this, listeners. I am involved. But did you do some of your assignments around the job that you do, or did you try and pick other elements?
Yeah, so it was mostly around the jobs that I do, but some of it was other elements. So quite a lot of it was, because 2 units were digital marketing, so there were 2 sides of the digital bit. So I learned quite a bit doing that. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it was good, and I could apply it afterwards to what I do now. So it has been really good. Yeah.
My challenge when I did it was we actually then had to do an exam.
And I had no exams.
Yeah, and going back to that exam environment, it's like I haven't done an exam when I left school, so I'm not going to tell viewers my age, but so when I left school, and it was like, oh my goodness, going back, it's like, put your bags in the corner, you can't touch them, just take a pen. I was like, it was really stressful.
That was the first thing I looked at to see if I had any exams, and I didn't, so I was quite pleased.
yeah, as I can imagine. So anyway, So anyone listening to our podcast, what advice would you actually give them in terms of before they embark in doing the SIM qualification?
To get organised. I think probably a bit like an apprenticeship. You think you've got all the time in the world to do your assignment, and then suddenly all your deadlines start creeping up, and you think,
I can imagine.
oh God.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is really good. I definitely recommend getting all the textbooks.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they are when you get them, they are big textbooks, but they are really helpful. And just like research your units beforehand as well. Like there's so many like bits of information you can get on the internet that can like help support your assignment as well. So that's really helpful. Yeah. Just to be able to apply it that bit more, and definitely after each lesson, try and apply it to what you want your assignment to be. You do your assignment briefing quite early on, so you know where your assignment's going to be. Okay. Yeah. So try and plan it as you go. I mean, I tried to do it. I'm not gonna lie and say I did all of it because I didn't every time. But it definitely helps you get more organised.
Brilliant. Okay, I think what would be really useful is actually just to understand a bit more about what the content was that you actually did. Because I think you mentioned, Chezzy, that you had 3 modules, roughly. You did 2 on digital, I think, and then 1 on marketing innovation. Is that what you said? Yeah. It'd be really interesting just to kind of understand what those 2 elements of the digital was. Just to, if you put a bit of context around that, it'd be really interesting.
So the first unit I did was all on like the digital customer experience. It was all about the customer journey, from when you first get your customer or client through to the end. So you had to look at the journey that they went through. So for example, like where on the website they'd end up when they first clicked onto your website. So where they were coming from, at what point they were dropping off. So all of that is really useful for us here as well. So it's been good that was quite a transferable part of it. And then the other one was digital strategy. So it was all about...
I can't say that word either.
It's all about like a long-term strategy for your business. So you had to think 3 years into the future of your business and put a strategy in place for what it was, like how your business was going to look in that time, which that was quite difficult. And
was that purely on digital, not on integrating marketing within that?
No, so that was digital and traditional as well. So you had to use both elements, which again was really helpful because I do both in my role. So it was quite good to be able to tie that in with what I do. So,
and marketing innovation. Wow,
God, that was so hard.
What was it?
Yeah, I mean, a few people on the course, they had their ideas straight away. So it was like one of them was like they were in construction, they were marketing in construction. So their innovation was to have their trade show online rather than in person. So on Zoom and have a virtual show. Oh, okay. So it took me ages to think of anything. So I actually came up with podcasts.
Oh, right.
I took some inspiration from this.
Okay.
So, but it was trying to think at a high enough level for the innovation. So an app, they didn't want you to come up with an app because it's not necessarily innovative enough. Okay. So it was coming up with a new service or like a new process in your business. So it was definitely the most challenging out of the 3 of them. But it was good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So how long do they say that your studying time should be for?
It's something like 120 hours. Might be more, might be less, but it's around that. So I looked at it and thought, God, there's no way I can spend that long studying. It's probably similar for an apprenticeship. You probably get told.
Yeah, I can't. From the top of my head, I don't remember what it was, but like each course, each lecture sort of thing was like a hour or 2, and you did one of them pretty much every week. So add all that up, and it is quite a big chunk of time.
Yeah, but you do it. I did look back and I didn't add up the hours, but you probably do roughly what they recommend, just because it is a big qualification to do. So
it was probably a good. There's nothing good about lockdown or COVID or whatever, but what I mean is for actually having that whole time, because you were unfortunately on furlough as well for part of it, so it was probably quite a good, if you were going to do it, it's quite a good time to do it.
It was definitely a really good time to do it. My last unit I was actually back working, and I found that unit hardest as well, so doing that, being back at work, it was quite hard, but it was good to just be able to have as much time as I needed to spend on them. Yeah. So I didn't have to sacrifice too many weekends. Not that you could do anything, but it was really good. Yeah, I definitely recommend it.
Good. Is that a route you'd want to go down, Reece, or your studying days?
I don't know. At this moment in time, I think my studying days might be behind me. I quite like getting the experience hands-on in the job. But I suppose you can never say never, can you?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I've got all my textbooks if
Yeah.
if you want them.
Honestly, I think we've got our cupboard here is full of textbooks over, I did mine about 7 years ago. I think Kelly did a similar thing about 7-8 years ago. And then, as I say, Debbie and Nikki did it about 4 years ago. We've just got so many books, but they seem to change, don't they? Editions seem to change because, when they did it, it's like, oh, why don't you use the same books? It's like, well, actually, it's changed slightly, and it probably actually hasn't changed at all. But, you just want a more up-to-date one, and then getting that brand new textbook kind of thing and open it is lovely, isn't it? Again, I'm going to read that from cover to cover, but I'm not sure we did. But anyway, if any listeners out there want to borrow any of our books or come and see our library, feel free, but I'm sure they've got more exciting things to do anyway. But anyway. And Reece, I know yours was a long time ago.
It was indeed, yeah.
So what was the content that, if you can remember, I'm sure you can, but if you can remember, what was the kind of the elements to your content as well?
So the course itself was social media for business.
Okay.
So that, I mean, it covered a lot, really.
Yeah, sure.
But sort of the main gist of it was like the importance of it and how to reach a different customer base and also an existing customer base through social channels. So I think the two things that I really took away from it that stuck with me was branding and like engaging with the audience. So like it's keeping that tone of voice and the consistency across your website and even going to like print media and then putting that also back onto social media as well.
Okay.
Having that clear straight line of what it is that your business is about. So if you see something on the back of a bus or you see a website or you see a social post, like you instantly recognize what it is.
Yeah.
And also like engaging and interacting with an audience. Like everyone uses, well, I say everyone, the majority of people use social media on a personal basis, but you wouldn't necessarily interact with your audience the way you do personally. It's, again, it's that brand voice, it's how that brand portrays itself. So it's all sort of second nature to me, really, is what we do. But learning it back then, it was really quite interesting because it sort of opened your eyes up a little bit more. To
do you think that if you were doing it now, do you think the content would be different? Because that was 7 years. I can't remember. Was it 7 years? So if that was 7-8 years ago to where you are now, or is the content different? Do you think? I don't know.
I think mine was probably maybe 3, 4. I don't even know, to be honest. It was. I've been here 3 years, so about 4 years ago I did it. But absolutely, like the digital world changes on a daily basis.
Exactly.
Like something that was commonplace at the beginning of this year will have changed now.
But brilliant. I think that's been really useful. We could go into the depths of what was involved in terms of each session, but we could be here all day talking about that. But I think it's really useful. I appreciate both your time today. It was really good. Hope you've enjoyed your podcast experience, and I'm sure we'll get you on again at some point. So thank you very much. Thanks for listening. Hope you found the podcast insightful. Please feel free to be in touch if you'd like to discuss any of the information you've heard today, or you would like more information on the services we provide. Otherwise, until the next time, enjoy.